Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this first instalment of Impact at BE for 2024. My name is Vic Oldfield. I am the head of school here at BE. It's a real pleasure and honour to welcome you here today. Before we go on, I would like to acknowledge that we gathered here together on Medical land. I'd like to pay my respects to elders both past and present and extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who may be joining us today. So the Impact at BE series is really designed to capture and celebrate the research our academics are doing, not just on their own, but in combination and collaboration with industry and communities. So in the school we have this real commitment to undertake research that is not only of value, but that tackles global challenges and has a real positive impact on society. And today, the talk is going to be given by a couple of my BE colleagues, Associate Professor Cynthia Wang and Associate Professor Rizo Garcia Sunindiccio, with industry partners Naomi Crawford and Elizabeth Cresswell from ADCO Constructions. And they're going to be talking about the research project attracting, retaining and empowering women in the construction industry. So without further ado, I'll pass over.
Hello. Welcome to the Impact at BE research presentation. Our project is on attracting, retaining, and empowering women in construction. As most of you know, back in 2022, myself and Riza started this project. Up to now, it's 1.5 years into the project, and I'm glad that we have such an opportunity to present the progress of the project. Okay, how do I? All right. First, I would like to cover some basic project information. This project is funded by the government, the Department of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Office for Women. It started in December 2022 and it will complete by June 2026. The total grant value is $2.3 million, and we are now is about 1.5 years into the project. And as it's a very large, comprehensive project, so we can only highlight some of the activities and the projects we have conducted here. Women in construction itself is not a new research project. So in the past, many companies and many researchers have tackled this area. And we can see lots of research publications and also lots of initiatives in the industry. So when we prepare this research application, it's a competitive process, so we understand that we have to prepare something which has genuine innovation and also take a different approach from past research so it can be successful. So based on the previous research findings and also the empirical experience we had with our students and our graduates, we understand that the problem or the issues with the previous efforts is because most of the existing research and initiatives are stand-alone, and there's no systematic approach has addressed these issues. So these fragmented efforts failed to deliver the satisfactory outcome to resolve the gender issues in construction. So we proposed this life cycle approach, which aimed to change people's perception that construction is only for male, and also provide ongoing support to have a long-lasting and successful career for women. In other aspects, we look at the impact of technology. As we know, the technology has made lots of changes to the industry. They changed the work pattern, the work culture, improved the productivity, while bringing the flexibility to construction. Therefore, we look at how technology advancement can impact women and women's competitiveness in this industry. So based on these two innovative aspects, we developed a range of activities and sub-research projects. One of the things is to change perception. As we know, to attract women into construction, a person's career dream actually starts from a very young age. So we start from schoolgirls, and we look at how to change schoolgirls, the parents, and general community's perception. We made more than 10 videos up to now to introduce different career paths for women. And we showcase the role models in the industry. We also created a handbook, which is available in digital version or printed copy, which showcase the career options for women and also provide information to support women all over Australia in different states, in city areas and in rural areas to access education, degrees or other trainings so they can prepare to enter construction industry. Up to now, we have delivered over 100 workshops and presentations for students, school, career advisors, parents, and the wider community. As the project was proposed in the COVID period, and we can imagine at that time, construction site visits is not always possible for high school girls. So we proposed to making virtual tours to give high school students immersive experience of the construction sites, which I will show you a bit more later on. I just show you some pictures. These are the high school events we organized. So we have delivered over 100 presentations from public schools, Catholic schools to full private schools about the career opportunities in construction. And we went to their career fair and also talked to and influenced the parents and career advisors at school. This is another picture showing Reza is running a robotic workshop at UNSW, which actually opened to primary school and junior high school kids. Gave them some introduction idea about how construction industry operates. These photos showing the collaboration we're having with industry partners. The industry partners are actually very supportive to run the career tours and site visits for high school girls. And so this collaboration has been established for many construction companies. These are just some photos with Basic Mopac, Multiplex, and we had other events with Roberts Co. and other construction industry, John Holland, etc. Okay, they run the workshops and we deliver speeches to inform students the career paths, university degrees, and the potential support and the support we can provide, and other career pathways into construction industry. This is one of the important projects we ran last year. We delivered this project in collaboration with Australian Institute of Building. Some of you probably know, we built the sheds, engaging 20 high school girls, built the sheds on UNSW campus. This shade was later donated to the Aboriginal Land Council. I think I should be able to play that video. which we started a bit earlier. Can we start from beginning? This one? Oh, it is start from beginning. Okay.
The Women in Construction project at the UNSW School of Built Environment aims to attract, retain and empower women in construction. The project is funded by the Australian Government's Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet's Office for Women. As part of this project, and in collaboration with the Australian Institute of Building and TAFE New South Wales, 20 high school girls participated in a 5-day program to build a shed at UNSW's Kensington campus. The completed construction was then donated to the Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council. The students learned different processes, including design, procurement, people management, work health and safety, and construction. We hope the participants will feel empowered to take up careers in the traditionally male-dominated construction industry. From engineer to project manager to estimator to roles considering sustainability or work health and safety, there are many ways women can build successful careers in construction.
Okay. So this part is to introduce and attract construction to high school girls, and I pass on to Riza to continue presenting our project activities for university students and working women in construction.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay. Okay, so the second group of activities is about providing support for women studying construction in university. So we provide scholarships, mentorship, internship, and also we invite female industry practitioners to come and then share their insights and experience concerning working in the construction industry. So they can become role models and also they can, I guess, be aspirations for students. So in terms of internship, for example, in a sense, we provide internship. So from the organization side, it's like an unpaid internship because the project will cover the women's salary during the internship period. So we provide such a support through this project. And we can see we collaborate with many industry partners as well. And we thank ADCO as well in their support in this project. So just an example of inviting female professionals to share their insights. So this is a public lecture by Alison Miram. So she was the CEO of Roberts Co. So here, I think it's a good aspiration or role model for the students because they can see, hey, a woman also can become a CEO of a construction company. So here, Alison shared about shaking up the construction industry, especially how Roberts Co. implemented the Project 5 program. So instead of working 6 days a week, which is the common norm in the construction industry, so in Project 5, the workers work 5 days a week. And we can see from the diagram there, the workers are way more satisfied when they are involved in the Project 5. So just some more examples of women sharing their experience and insights to the students. And an example of video which we developed. Again, there are so many roles available in the construction industry and people usually only see that, okay, construction is about doing manual labor on site, which is true and that is a very important as well. But there are so many other roles available for women where they can build their careers. So this is just one example. Erika is actually a UNSW graduate and currently is working at ADCO as a senior project engineer. So let's hear her experience.
My name is Erika Drummond. I'm a senior project engineer at ADCO Constructions. Started as a cadet, which predominantly was assisting the project engineers on the project, dealing with a lot of the quality issues on site and managing those. Then I kind of moved on to project engineer, which was a little bit broader, carried a lot more responsibility, basically assisting the project managers and the senior engineers. And then as I kind of moved into a senior role, took a lot more of that on, as well as a lot of the programming on site and making sure that we were on track and trying to mitigate any program related issues. So I'm predominantly site-based, and what I do is basically work with the clients, the architects, these specialist consultants, the trades on site to get the design to a point where it is practical to build on site, as well as meet all the quality and time constraints. Another reason when I was younger why I wanted to enter the industry, and I don't think I've achieved this goal yet, was housing crisis and building in a more environmental way. And one of the higher aspirations I had was to be a part of potentially the solution to get the industry to incorporate better materials and a better way of building. Haven't reached that goal yet, but hopefully I've still got time. If you are looking or pursuing a job in construction, I would highly recommend project engineering. It's fast-paced, it's dynamic, no 2 days are the same. You get to work with a lot of different people and the opportunities are pretty much endless.
So we have more than 10 videos like that, again highlighting different roles. So now about changing the industry culture. So probably if you see the link there about Construction Industry Cultural Task Force, if you want to know more concerning what they do, you can visit that website. So basically they want to change the culture of the industry, and at the same time they want to improve the mental health and well-being of construction workers, which then can improve their productivity as well. And one aspect of their activities is also to improve gender diversity in construction. So we want to contribute also through this project to change the industry culture. So we disseminate best practices to promote women to leadership positions, and then we offer free online unconscious bias and knowledge course, and we provide funding for women to upskill themselves so they can reach higher leadership roles. So this is the unconscious knowledge and bias learning I mentioned, available for free. So if you want to join, just click the link and register, and then at the end of the course, 30 minutes, then you can get a completion certificate. This is very important because everyone has a bias, and then this bias can, I guess, influence the way we make decisions. And construction industry is a male-dominated industry, so there may be some, well, there are actually biases in the industry, and we need people to be aware of these biases, because again, they can influence how women are recruited and promoted in the construction industry. And we collaborate with many industry bodies and participate in networking events. So just some examples: Florence Luncheon in 2024 and last year as well. So this one is organized by Master Builders Association, and we have OBL, which is the Building Education Association International Conference. So that one, 2023, was in Auckland, where we again presented our project. So just quickly, in terms of impact, again, just some examples of statistics, not all of them. So in terms of the first group of activities, engaging female high school students to build their awareness and also engaging the community members, we have organized more than 300 workshops and presentations. We engaged nearly 4,000 female high school students so far, and also more than 400 community members, including parents and teachers. For female university students, we have awarded 14 scholarships, including PhD scholarships to conduct research on women in construction. 22 mentees have participated in the mentorship program, and we also have awarded 10 internships so far. In terms of changing industry culture, 54 women have received upskilling funding. Now more than 100 people have participated in the unconscious knowledge and bias training. So we just released the module this year, and we expect that the number will increase significantly in the near future. And our videos have reached nearly 3,000 views so far. In terms of research, so just quickly, this is one of the PhD research actually being done by Dia, which is here. So this is just part of her research. So this is about using AI, artificial intelligence, for analyzing women's career progression in construction. So we collect data from LinkedIn, because there are thousands of data from LinkedIn, and we want to identify the factors which may influence women's career progression. And also we want to understand how women progress their career in construction. And then we compare their experiences with men's experience. So those are just the steps in doing this particular research. So at the moment we are at the preliminary findings stage. So this is just data from a few hundreds LinkedIn profile, because we just want to test the way we collect the data and analyze the data, whether it makes sense and whether it can, I guess, generate the results that we want to know. So just an example, the one on the left is showing the comparison of years of experience. So basically how many years for people to reach managerial levels in the construction industry, so between men and women. And also the one on the right is basically how many positions that they held before they reach managerial levels. I think I'll just stop here. I'll continue, Cynthia will continue with more information about the project.
Alright, I'd like to talk about the VR project. Women in construction has long been taken as a social science project. So when we mention gender issues and also equality, people always think that's a social science topic. As engineering background, and also with some interest, with lots of interest in looking at how technology could improve the industry, we want to bring some interesting facts into this project. So because this project also developed and proposed during COVID at that time, organizing the physical site visits is not always possible. So we proposed the VR site tour. This is not, firstly, it's fun for kids, so it's quite attractive for primary school, high school kids. Second, it can be very educational. So that's our first intention, to create VR tours. So in this VR tours, we have collaboration with industry partners, because we have to create the tour from actual sites. So far, we have scanned 2 sites, and I'm showing one here, which is the site tour to John Holland construction site, which is just very close to UNSW. It's Randwick Children's Hospital sites. Dia and my other students scanned the site, both with 360 camera and with laser scanner. So 2 types of scan has been carried out. Then we have made, actually, I would like to acknowledge Dia made the tour for us. We cannot show the full tour to you yet, because we have submitted to John Holland for approval. They will check everything okay before we release to public. But I believe I'm okay just to show you a little bit of the VR sites here. Oh, okay, how do I, which is that here? Yeah. Okay, let's see, that's the tour we made.
Welcome to our virtual construction site tour. Before we begin, Please make sure your VR headset is securely in place and that you can see the environment clearly. Remember, even though this is a virtual experience, safety is still our top priority. Keep your hands and feet inside the designated tour area at all times. Throughout the experience, feel free to look around and explore the virtual environment. If you see any icons, you can click on them to access more detailed explanations. Alright, are you ready? Let's get started.
Alright, this is just a 2D version. So we actually have already uploaded it to the headsets, so it can provide a very immersive experience. But I can show you here without the headsets, the 2D version. So if we click this one.
The tower crane is the centerpiece of any major construction site. This massive machine stands tall, reaching heights of over 100 meters, and is crucial for lifting and moving heavy materials around the site. Workers control...
So I think I can stop here, but basically we have lots of hotspots embedded on the virtual tour. So the high school students or the girls and the boys and girls, they can play with it. So this provides a very fun environment for them to experience the construction site and learn the equipment and the surroundings and safety procedures on the construction site. So this is the first step for the VR tour. We plan that we will embed more educational elements into the VR tour. So I think firstly we'll make VR tour as a fun experience to attract the students, and then next level we'll make it educational experience. Okay, yes, the last thing. Alright, come back to the PPT. Alright, the last thing I want to share with you is this PhD project. Is that showing? Okay. Alright, this is another research project we're carrying out, and one of our PhD students, Abba, is doing this research by looking at how Construction 4.0 can empowering women in construction. For this project, we examine how various digital technologies can impact the job roles and how that can consequently benefit women. Abba's research has gone into about 1 year, and she innovatively proposed categorize the job roles into on-site, off-site, and fluid roles, because this is the best categorization that we can examine how technology influences these three types of roles. And then she further developed a draft framework. This will need to be validated by looking at how technology could enable and enhance the job task. So the tools will be categorized into two categories: enhancing tools and also enabling tools. After this investigation, Abba will further examine how the technologies will impact men and women differently on taking these roles, and then further examine how women can gain and should develop their skill to maintain their competitiveness in the industry. So again, this is at very early stage, so I think maybe next year when we have more findings or presentations by herself about the interesting outcomes of this project. So these are the, we just sampled some interesting part for this project to all of you. The overall project has much more things going on, And we hope in the future we could report more. I probably want to introduce this website to you. So it's, should I click this now? Website? So this is our Women in Construction website. I would like to take this opportunity to promote this website because it has every resources we developed so far. So we categorize into fundings and scholarships, and you can pass on to your friends. They can ask for upskill and leadership training funding. For students, they can apply for scholarships, etc. And for our students, there were internship opportunities, and there were events and other research news here. And we also have digital resources published here. You can see all the videos are here, which Risa just showed you one of them. And this is the digital booklet we developed here, and there were e-learning resources about the unconscious bias. All right. So these are the activities and research we've conducted so far. Now I would like to pass on to our industry partner to present their work at the industry.
Thanks so much, Associate Professor Cynthia and Risa and the UNSW Built Environment for having both Liz and I. So we're from ADCO. You'll hear a little bit more about us as we go through, but what I thought I'd start with is the opening of you can dream, create, design and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires people to make the dream a reality. So students sitting in front of us and students online, you're our reality and you're our future to the construction industry. So I've known Risa and Cynthia now for a couple of years in different areas, and I'm very lucky to say I've worked for a female CEO in construction and now also a female owner in construction. So as women in construction, you guys you've got a lot going for you. So our journey is about that collaboration through all the research that complements that UNSW have been doing, that complements both what ADCO are also doing. So, you know, we've been part of the case studies, the pathways, industry research, and are looking at how we can use the learning and the unconscious bias coming up. So our story, you'll meet Liz in a minute, but I'm just going to take you through a bit of an introduction to ourselves, ADCO, and then two major components, I guess, of ADCO, and that is our Women of ADCO, which we're very proud of, that our CEO and owner implemented 10 to 15 years ago, and then also our Girls Who Build program. So that's us, just in case you didn't recognise us. So Liz has a background in architecture, and she might have a quick word when she stands up, but joining ADCO nearly 10 years ago and is today responsible for the state design component of our company, and is working within the senior leadership team of Women of ADCO, and both sits within the NAWIC membership and also the leadership of Women of ADCO. I'm a little bit different. My background's not construction. My background's education, so it's all about providing the pathways and the career opportunities, in this instance for women in construction, but there's some men in the room, and those opportunities are equally there for you as well. So a little bit about us. So ADCO's been around for over 50 years, and we aspire to be the builder of choice for our clients, our consultants, and our trade partners and people. Becoming the builder of choice doesn't just happen, it takes responsibility, teamwork, and a dynamic mindset. It's about delivering on our promises and bringing energy to every stage of every project to achieve the shared goals. So you can see our story over 50 years there, of going into $1.5 billion worth of business, and our current women in construction is around the 24%. This one's slightly outdated. But 50 years with a female owner is pretty cool. So one of the main things we'll talk about is our commitments, and those commitments are around the diversity and inclusion, but also the Women of ADCO. So I have to say, I say it quite a lot now, but women bring a really different perspective to a building site. A lot of the men will tell you, as well as many colleagues will tell you, they clean, their equipment is kept clean, reducing costs, reducing wastage, and also taking care of the people around them. It's a different mindset, and we're really encouraging that to keep happening. And I know we've had Steph and a couple of your previous students being involved in a few of your other programs in the past. So I'm going to hand over to Liz, who is now going to bring a conversation about Women of ADCO and how that different approach comes in. So just to let you know that Women of ADCO was established by our chair, Judith Brinsmead, OAM, back 14 years ago, I think it is now, where she provides the national dialogue, the leadership and the support through a collaborative approach, which facilitates social and parental support, mentoring programs, professional development and career growth within the construction industry.
Thank you, Naomi.
So, as Naomi highlighted, at ADCO, we really do genuinely believe that women have a lot to contribute to construction in the future, and we are really dedicated to providing the opportunities and the support to facilitate that. At the forefront of that is our Women of ADCO organisation. So that's our internal organisation that is tasked with just championing the agenda of progressing women in the industry. Women of ADCO includes all of the women across the national business. We have branches of Women of ADCO within each state business, which includes all of the women working within that state. And then we also have an executive level, so that all of the initiatives and feedback that comes out of those national or those state branches can be fed up to the top level of the business. So our national executive of Women of ADCO includes a representative from each state's Women of ADCO, and then it includes a member of the senior leadership team from within each state. It also includes Judy, our chairperson, who religiously comes and makes sure that those ideas are given the real bandwidth to be developed within the business. One of the key events that we run through Women of ADCO is a biannual Women of ADCO conference, which all the women nationally are brought to one location, different states each 2 years. And it's essentially a really big working group where ideas are developed. And at that forum, there's the opportunity for the groups to develop those ideas and to ultimately present them to a managing director and to Judy, our chair. And out of that forum, there's a huge and diverse range of ideas that have come to fruition. I'll run you through some of those specific initiatives that have come to fruition in our business in a moment. So we understand the need to retain and promote women in our industry, and we know that that's only achieved through policies and practices which drive strong and sort of workplace cultures. Flexible working arrangements, program for women who choose to embrace motherhood alongside their construction careers, personal and professional development opportunities, career growth and financial recognition. Women of ADCO have a charter which isn't showing up on the screen, which keeps us on track. And ultimately, the chart is really about providing leadership and support to women in the business, about providing value through a genuine national dialogue, about remaining dedicated to real equal opportunity, and about ensuring that we support a one-team culture across the business. So, testament to success of Women of ADCO and the policies achieved through the Women of ADCO Forum, some of the statistics. So today, 24% of our workforce are women, compared to 13% 3 years ago. I myself have worked at ADCO for 8 years, and the dynamic has drastically changed within the workplace as that statistic has progressed. Since 2020, we've grown our business significantly, and throughout that growth, male staff numbers have increased by 36%, but female numbers have experienced 187% growth. So that is testament to both recruitment and the real drive to recruit women in various positions, but also to those policies being successful in terms of achieving retention. We have a target of 30% employment of women by the end of 2030, and that's been set by our national leadership team, and both our national and state leadership teams track that on a monthly basis and really do hold ourselves to account on it and question ourselves if we're not progressing that at a rate that will achieve our target. So it's not just about numbers. We also really work towards making sure that we're progressing people within the business and that we're getting people in at the senior levels. So it's about progressively increasing the number of women employed and making sure that that includes senior management roles. So within our business, there's now female representation on the national leadership team and in each state leadership team, as well as obviously our chairwoman, Judy Grimsmead. We've also recently promoted internally female to the state manager role in one of our branches in Western Australia. So we continue to promote women from within, have a formal mentoring program offered by our Women of ADCO to all women within the business, encourage and support women to participate in external industry committees and boards, so to get that exposure and that development themselves. We encourage, support and celebrate external award nominations and wins. Yeah. Yeah, so we really do encourage our women to get out in the industry, develop that recognition and showcase themselves, which obviously helps build the reputation of women in the industry further. We work to recruit women for our cadet program, our apprenticeship program and our graduate program. So we aim for 50% women. 2023 we had 55%. And we generally have a really, really strong representation in that junior level coming up through the business. And we do see those people progress up in the business through their careers. We recruit women, or we make sure that there's ample representation of women in our ADCO Leaders program and our Emerging Leaders program. So they're really the pools of people that are given the real genuine opportunity to rise up through the ranks and really supported and given the right training to progress their careers up through the business. And we invite all women to participate in the biannual Women of ADCO conference, which I mentioned before. So, through the Women of ADCO Forum, and through particularly the initiatives that have been developed through the biannual Women of ADCO conference, we've successfully implemented numerous initiatives. Some of these stories serve as really powerful examples of what's possible and demonstrate that gender really isn't a barrier to succeeding in the industry. So through Women of ADCO, we've implemented a Staying Connected program and return to work strategy alongside a robust parental leave policy. So we make sure that people have the opportunity to go and have a family and be supported in that, in their career. Something as basic as a new email signature to include the details of flexible work arrangements to really make sure that those arrangements are truly accommodated in people's work arrangements. A more inclusive calendar of client events in each state. So traditionally in construction, events would often be predominantly sporting things, and that was how people would network. So it's making sure that there's events that both men and women will be able to equally participate in. Updating our site inductions to include ADCO's expectations in relation to workplace conduct, including gender equality. And we commenced developing a safety officer program for both men and women on our sites. And we have national membership with NAWIC and the Diversity Council of Australia, and we provide membership to those organisations for all of our employees. There's a short video here that gives you a little bit of insight into Women of ADCO.
My name is Khalifa. Renee. Holly Ramsey. Jessica Pike. The Women of ADCO means a lot to me. It is a great support network. Inclusion, I have somewhere to go to, I feel supported in my workplace. Often when you're working on site, you're the only female. It's nice to know that there are also women experiencing that. What I love about the construction industry is that every day is different. Everyone's got your back, everyone works together. I like seeing a project come from the ground up. It's exciting, you're always learning. You can be doing a school one day, you can be doing a warehouse. Being a part of the project, being able to make real change. What I love about my current role is variety. I am constantly learning new things. I get to see behind the scenes of so many amazing careers. Having worked on something and then seeing it being built, you get a diverse group of people that you work with. Understanding just something new. Talking to people is pushing me out. I'm very comfortable doing it and I'm loving that. My key piece of advice, always ask questions. You learn so much on the job and everyone is there to help you learn. Being open to opportunities. Mastering what is within your control. Just taking time to stop and be kind. To build your confidence within yourself and just to go out and give it a go.
So I'll hand back to Naomi now to talk through one of our other key programs, Girls Who Build.
So part of Women of ADCO was the conversation around Girls Who Build, and we were lucky enough to receive some funding from the Innovation Industry Program grant from New South Wales Government, which allowed us to put together a little program for Year 10 to Year 12 students for them to basically be immersed into a project. So we were pretty lucky. Risa came out to all of those and talked to the girls at the end of the week about their career pathways. But we know, as you would, research shows that kids as young as 7 are making those decisions because of the people around them. So what you don't know, you can't go and be. So that was us putting our program together. So the Girls Who Build was encouraging more females towards a career in the construction and property industries. And as I mentioned, it's for years 10 to 12 in groups of 5 to 6, where we take them out on site for 5 days, including head office, for them to understand and be fully immersed into that program. So yeah, we too, like UNSW and BE, are on a mission to educate and engage through that exposure to our industry. Some of the stats around the Girls Who Build program, not as big as RIS's, so there's no competition there. But what we like to say is that We did some online career sessions, so if any of you happen to jump onto those, we had 15 women of ADCO, where those sessions were held all in non-traditional roles. So what I mean by that is your project engineers, your construction managers, your project managers, cadets and grads in those areas, where they had a 45-minute conversation and were talking to amongst themselves, but with the others on the phone line or on the lines as well. We had 93 registrations for that, including parents, students, careers advisors and teachers. And probably the big thing out of that is it's again being reinforced that having female mentors means the most. And the opportunity here from people doing the job was far more than just reading something. We were pretty lucky, we got 4 stars. The Girls Who Build program, that's an average too, Brizza. The Girls Who Build program was 5 projects at this point in time, where we had 5 project sites and head office. We went through 8 schools and 8 careers advisors. So again, interesting to see 6 women in those careers advisor positions. So again, if they haven't had that experience within construction, they can't actually speak on behalf of construction. So we're pretty lucky to have a couple of those come out to site and go, wow, we didn't know this was construction. So they've gone back with a toolkit, pardon the pun, to be able to start talking to students. We worked with 3 regional industry engagement partnerships from the Department of Education, and one, the VET partners through Master Builders and our tertiary partner, UNSW. So we had 24 participants complete the program. We had 31 women of ADCO involved in the program. So we at this point have about 47 women in New South Wales. So I tried to touch on all of those to be part of the program, and a lot of those were multiple programs as well. We had 38 men from ADCO involved, and on average we had 8 women and 12 men. So over a week they were shadowing, being hands-on, having demonstrations, having conversations, you name it, they were out there in their boots of what they could do. The biggest outcome for us in this, although not tertiary, but we do have a student who's returned for work experience and is being enrolled into a school-based apprenticeship. So hopefully in term 4 she'll come back to us and start doing 1 day a week to do carpentry, and if that's a win, I've done it so far, but we'll keep going. And then we've got another program that was delayed, but that'll roll out in November. To get that far, it takes a lot of work. Riza and Cynthia will tell you there's a big toolkit that needs to be developed. There's handbooks, there's guides, there's information, there's schedules. I sit on site with them for a week so that I'm not impacting the project sites as much as what they can be done. So everything's involved in that. You can see there that they get their hands on. They were doing dogmen, so they were talking to the crane operators. They were on site, they were doing practical activities around estimating and procurement. They were getting their hands dirty with concrete. There's Rizza. And then there was a presentation at the end of the week. Bit hard to read, but you know, there's some really good comments there saying, I completely thought it was an upfront hands-on industry, and I figured out that there was more things for people to do with it, and there was women that were being a big part of it. I think the program helped me realise how many career paths and options are for women in the construction industry. So, you know, there's just a handful of people saying they didn't know what was in construction. So these stories serve as powerful examples of what's possible, demonstrating that gender is not a barrier to success in the industry. By highlighting diverse paths to achievement and celebrating accomplishments of women in construction, we can inspire students to envision themselves as future leaders and trailblazers. So with our trade partner engagement and their passion in sharing their professional education journeys, we've been able to do those hands-on. So what we actually learnt, this is really interesting, when we did our careers conversations, both verbal and online, and face-to-face, that there's some attractors to the industry, and I'm sorry that's a bit pale, but you can see the big things that we know it's an industry that pays a lot of money. There's lots of job opportunities, there's job security, there's careers in it, there's lots of careers opportunities, there's interaction and practical and hands-on. And then we have to go the other way. And the detractors that they all know about is the long hours. So Rizza touched on a little while ago, our Alison Myriams and her 5-day work week and the Culture Construction Task Force. And these are some of the things that we're now looking at within the industry to remove some of those barriers and detractors to encourage women into the industry, but also to make it more comfortable for everybody within it. So, you know, you've got your long hours. Confidence is a big one. You heard the girls back in the video. You can do it. I do a lot of expos with a second-year carpentry apprentice, and she says, look at the size of me, I can't lift everything. So it's about finding ways to be able to change that and taking those on board and making the opportunity for everybody. So we have 2 programs, well, quite a few programs, but this one's sort of developed all in one go. It's in a development program around our cadets and grads, interns and apprenticeship programs. So moving forward, there are the opportunities to have conversations with you. I'm talking to Riza and Cynthia pretty much as we speak about internships, but we do offer the grad program and a cadet program, and the intern one is obviously one that mirrors that in a way that you become very hands-on, where you look at a rotation through contracts administration, design management, services, estimating, site engineering and health, safety and environment. A quick snapshot of that is looking at your stage 1 and stage 2, and I'm happy to take those on board with anyone afterwards. So stage 1 is doing all your common assessments, and stage 2 is more of a preference or an elective as you might want to look at it, so where you can get that experience. And then similarly is the apprenticeship program, so more of your trades background and going in over 4 years being carpentry with your initial courses in carpentry and safety management all the way through to more contract management. So I guess to wrap up, this is Girls Who Build.
The factors shaping children's aspirations, such as gender stereotyping, socioeconomic background and their networks, play a significant role in their educational and career choices. ADCO's initiatives, like industry and career conversations, interactive programs and hands-on opportunities, aim to foster a more inclusive and engaging dialogue around these topics. Programs such as Girls Who Build help promote career exploration, education pathways and networking for young women. ADCO's leadership in enhancing the status and influence of women in Australia's construction industry is exemplified by its commitment to achieving 30% employment of women by 2030. Let's hear from some of the participants and what they learned about construction.
Prior to being able to experience this Girls Who Build program, when I would first think of construction, I would just think of, just picture a bunch of men just sitting on scaffolds and being a bit, tough and manly. But now when I see there's so many different jobs, and not all of them are physical hammering and drilling. You can drive cranes or talk to the cranes, or design more of the architect side, or maths, money. It's a lot different to what I'd expected.
I have learned a lot about all the different jobs that there are in the industry. I still want to do carpentry because hearing from Dave and Nick about how it all started from carpentry, and now construction managers and site managers have wanted me to become one of those roles.
It was really interesting to see the commercial side of it and see what the workplace is like.
On day one, I came in with a very set mindset of what construction was and how there was a very limited idea to what construction jobs really were. And now I feel as if I've learned many more possible job options and how much really goes on behind the scenes of construction.
It's been really fascinating, really seeing what different people have done and how it can maybe relate to us and what we want to do. For me, in particular, looking at architecture and then green sustainability, it was really interesting looking at how it's part of everything everybody does.
Yeah, and for me, not being stuck, but being in between project management or something that's more practical, like site management, so it's really helping to make a clearer choice between the two.
that's ADCO, and our opportunities of how we've been bringing the Girls Who Build program to life. And I guess in summary is saying that UNSW and Riza and Cynthia are definitely on the same page as what we are. It's a pathway of attracting, retaining and empowering women within the construction industry. And there's these efforts that are vital in creating a more inclusive and diverse workplace, breaking down those stereotypes and providing the equal opportunities for both. So I'll leave you with the whole, you can't be what you can't see, and we're happy to take some questions.
I guess I'm conscious of times as well. So if there are any burning questions, and also those online, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Sit here, Cynthia. Sure.
I'll ask a question to the audience. Who is in their final year of study? Okay. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? Yeah?
Actually, I'm interested in the site engineer.
Site engineer. And so you have got some experience to that and ready to get your boots dirty?
No, well, I'm studying the construction management policy.
Perfect. Okay, so when you get a bit more through your course, you need to have a chat with Riza and Cynthia and get your internship and get some experience or a cadetship. Yeah.
Actually, I applied some road near to the site engineer. But maybe it's because of the international student. We have the work limitation. So yeah, for the production parts, we don't have compared with the local student, we only can work maybe 3 days per week and only 8 hours. But for local student, maybe they can work for 4 days or even more.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely take that on board and we can go back and ask them questions about international students and if there's a program that we can try and cater to your working requirements. Okay, we've got a site engineer, front row. What are you going to look to do?
Yeah, I have been working as a QS.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Liz's area a little bit more.
Tia is actually doing PhD at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is one of the research that we presented.
The LinkedIn one? The AI one. Be interesting to see your research. Because I spent some time with LinkedIn in a previous role where they showed the back end of all their statistics, and they can tell us better than what companies can about the movement and the transient nature of the industry and jobs. So it's very interesting. It's not just about your profile and learning, it's about the back end of those statistics.
is there any specific question you're interested about to our project? We three work on the same project.
Okay. Well, maybe we can share. You can share some more information on that when you get through your project. It'd be good to see it. But yeah, it's interesting how long. I think I was a bit shocked to see the difference in people having to be in jobs for a longer period of time of females versus males. Thank you.
Yeah, it's one for both of you. So in terms of ADCO, because I mean you are interested to have more women in the company, and I guess the chairperson is a woman as well. How important it is, I guess, to like the top-down approach, or what motivates this kind of approach in ADCO?
So Judy, who's our owner, it's driven by Judy. So developing Women of ADCO, I think it's nearly 14 years ago now, it's really driven by her. It's about the opportunities. So as Liz mentioned, she comes to the conferences, she's part of the conference. When we're presenting the ideas at the end, it's Judy taking those notes to take it back internally and then it's driven through our Managing Director, Neil, as well, where those figures are, I guess, are set for us to then benchmark and be able to achieve. Liz has been in Women of ADCO a bit longer, so there's a lot more strategy behind it, but that's probably another part.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because we've had that top-down approach for a while, and we have started to infiltrate our sites with a lot more women, I think that the recognition is starting to emerge for the benefits of that and the benefits of that diversity. So the drive is becoming broader.
All right, okay. This is a comment, but also a question. In the presentation, we actually didn't present. We have another PhD student topic. The student is also here. Is looking at how the current policies and initiatives in the industry to address the gender issues have effectively or not so effectively addressed the gender issues. So that could be from HR perspective or the executive perspective, because currently there are so many initiatives already. Then how could we identify the most effective ones and continue those ones and enhance? And then what are those ones that actually we think they're helpful, but women actually don't care that much and not that effective? I wonder if from your experience, did you observe something with the current initiative? What are the most important initiative or the most attractive, effective way have attracted women?
Look, in my experience and having led the New South Wales Women of ADCO for a little while, I think we find that the initiatives that are taken up the most internally are the ones that actually do help people progress their careers. So the things that are a little bit fluffy or a little bit more social. Girls are busy, they're on their sites, they're doing their jobs, and so sometimes those things, have a limited kind of appetite, whereas things like the mentoring programs, the sort of actual training activities that help girls do their jobs, really seem to get the most demand and the most take-up.
So one of the last polls we did for New South Wales was to find out what our Women of ADCO wanted, and I think the top 3 out of that was mentoring, communication skills, so including conflict management, and that's not just, we're not talking hostage negotiation as such, but we're talking how to have that confidence to be able to speak, but also public speaking and communication, so how to hold yourself, how to talk, how to have that conversation with whether it be a trade partner or a CEO or your colleague. They're sort of linked with that. And around productivity, it's about how do you balance work and life. So as we said, the social events are great and they keep that community engagement and that social engagement, but it's really giving them the outcome. And we're not saying a full-time course or full-time study, but little snippets of courses to upskill and give that confidence to be in the industry.
That's great. I think that helps greatly to our research project already. Of course, she will have more systematic investigation, like survey interviews, and definitely. So in the future, she probably will contact you. Yeah. You have further questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. From your experience, do you think some of the personalities will help people to achieve the managerial positions in the construction industry?
We're both going yes. I think confidence is probably one of your biggest traits that you're going to need to have, and it's confidence in yourself that you can do the job, not confidence against somebody else. So it's about, it's not necessarily a personality, it's being able to say I can do the job, asking for help. And I know, having spoken to a lot of the female apprentices and grads and cadets, have always said, I ask for help and I get it. They have no issues in people sharing, and I think we're pretty lucky with ADCO. They're very happy to share their experiences, what does and doesn't work, as a team approach rather than I can't show you that. So personality, is always great. You have, the larger voices and the happy voices in an office and in a site, but it's definitely about that confidence to trust yourself. And I think they say it in the video, give it a go. Give it a go and then have that network around you for that support.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's often quoted the statistic about to apply for a role or a promotion, men have to have this much of the role criteria met versus women have to really be at almost 100%. And I think it's very much what Naomi was saying in terms of having the confidence to step into the role and to learn and grow in that role.
Thank you.
I have a small question about reversing for a little bit our viewpoint and perspective, because I have been a woman in construction for many years as construction site director of my own projects, and I found that no matter what, I was confident and prepared, and the problems are somewhere else. So it's the trust that other people put in you that sometimes is missing. So I was wondering, are you considering to sometime, somewhere in the middle of this beautiful program you have, also to try to educate the other part? Because when you work in a situation in which 99% of the people are men and you're a woman, sometimes confidence is not enough and preparation is not enough. So now hearing the other side.
It was interesting at the last conference, quite a few people made the comment to say we're probably going to be outdoing ourselves at these conferences soon because it will just become the norm. And it's about having those male allies working with us and not creating a further divide, but bringing that divide back together and working as one. So yeah, there is an education process behind it. We're very lucky that we have quite a few. Well, Neil, our managing director, sits in Women of ADCO and the national leadership, where the information goes to him, and he's a male ally, and we have quite a few in that area. So it was brought up as a conversation that we shouldn't just be here on our own any longer. We should be also coming together. So as much as we say it's one of our benefits where we get a lot of information, we also need to start bringing people on that ride with us.
Yeah, and I think it's a really valid point, particularly as we start to see things like quotas introduced. There is that attitude that emerges of, are women getting an easier run? Are they getting in the door at lower thresholds? And I do feel that there are a lot of women that feel like they're having to prove themselves a little bit more and prove their validity in a particular role. And so I think things like unconscious bias training that Riza mentioned, I think those things become really valid. And I absolutely agree with you that is part of it.
And it's a current conversation we're having.
Yeah, just a comment. I think that's a really good point. So many people think women in construction is women's business, but actually it's not. It's the other gender really need to get involved. So we actually, in our research project, we're considering to involve more and more males in the industry. So, and also our unconscious bias training is also should be promoted to both male and female. Yeah.
Conscious and unconscious.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and also I think. Both industry people make really good point is I think the confidence is from inside of the women is the key, and then this is in our research. We're talking about our research framework. There's empowerment within women and there's empowerment from outside. So there's two layers, we need to look at both sides. Yeah, so I think in many situations, if the women is not confident from within, and then no matter how you want to promote women in construction, they cannot stand high because they're not strong inside. But from another aspect, when the women does have that confidence and capability, the environment need to give enough support. So I think this is both sides. Yeah. I have another question. All good. All right. Okay. I think we can draw conclusion for today's session, and then we can have some nice dinner, maybe light dinner. Yeah. All right. To celebrate our events. All right. We have some gifts for our industry contributors. Yeah.
Great. So enjoy. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.